Welcome back, everybody. Today we're doing something kind of different here. We're doing some R&D. I do a ton of this stuff behind the scenes that really never gets put on camera because a lot of companies want to keep their products in development sort of under wraps. But this here is a 1-in-6 14.5-inch barrel by Green Mountain. It's 4150 mil spec, and it has a 1-in-6 twist. That's kind of the unique thing about it. You know, there's traditional wisdom about twist rates, and one of these days I'll get into a specific video on that and kind of cover it and run the gamut. But what the purpose of this video is just to kind of give you a data point, and it's also going to be something that obviously the manufacturer can see and see how their product is doing. But there's a couple questions when you start getting into that fast of a twist barrel. Number one, is it beneficial in short barrel rifles? There's a lot of sort of conjecture that it may be out there. This barrel's not super short, but shorter than 16 inches, so we'll test that. Will the lighter weight bullets lose their jackets? So the easiest way to tell that is what we see on the paper when we go down there and check this out. So we have here today, we have 55 grain Wolf that we're going to be shooting, 55 grain Freedom munitions. Those are both 223. We have M855 green tip straight Lake City stuff, so 5.56 chambering, 62 grain. And 75 grain 223 tap, Hornady tap rounds. So we got the target downrange at 100 yards, excuse me, to keep it standard, so they can sort of gauge how their product's doing, and the rifle here. So without further ado, we'll get into the groups and then go down, take a look at them, and discuss, I guess, our findings. So let's see what we can get out of it. All right, so that looked like a relatively large group there for the 223 55 grain Freedom stuff. Kind of what you'd expect out of that with the fast twist barrel. Let's step up here to the 62 grain 5.56. Admittedly as well, guys, I got a mil-spec trigger in this rifle here, so that kind of is a built-in excuse. So the groups are going to be a little bit bigger probably than what the rifle can inherently do just because of the trigger, the nature of the trigger. So, all right, let's go ahead and start with this 8.55. All right, didn't look too bad, but again, that's still a 62 grain bullet. We're gonna fire the 223 Wolf 55 grain. See how this does. So far, just at least from what I can see through this 9-power scope here, it doesn't look like we're having any jacket separation issues. You guys may see something different. I may see it when I go down there and take a closer look. But for now, it looks like it's not an issue right now. that's interesting. That's very interesting. All right, 223 tap. 75 grain stuff here. This is the stuff that you'd expect on paper, just looking at the specs of the barrel, that this would probably get the best group, but that was a little weird there with that wolf, I gotta admit. Let's see. Barrel's not too hot. We'll get going. Let's go check it out. You guys already saw the group, so let's get the measuring tape out and actually see what they actually are. For that Freedom Munitions 55 grain, we're getting 2.5 inches, which in all honesty is a respectable group. It's not match ammo. Not designed to be. On that 8.55, we have 1 3/4 inches. Again, that's a pretty good group in my opinion. This sucker was the shocker of the day. Like, what happened there? Who knows? Anyway, we're getting 1 1/4 inches for that wolf. That's nuts. I don't know what's going on there. It's sort of one of those like barrel twist, barrel preference mysteries that happen sometimes when you're shooting groups. So, and I was actually, another odd thing, I was on pretty much all of these, I was holding right on the bottom edge of the circle, so that way I'd get a smaller aiming point. I was aiming right here on the bottom of this white circle, and that's how far off they were versus the other point of impacts. I mean, it's just odd. I don't know. And then with the tap, you can see here, right at 1.5 inches, you know, on the dot. So, I mean, those are respectable groups in my opinion. And like I said, with a non-mil spec trigger, we could probably tighten those up just a touch. Well, I'd say the initial results are good on this barrel. Certainly the 1-6 may have some benefits to it. The test we did here today showed no adverse effects at all, actually. And barrel shot pretty well, considering the guy behind the gun. But I mean, I want to thank Green Mountain for sending the barrel out, obviously, for testing. Hopefully this helps them in their evaluation as they go forward and decide, you know, whether or not to make this an offering. It's not available for purchase yet, for those of you guys wondering. But who knows? In the future, it may be. We may have several different models. But as of right now, we had no issues to report and actually had some pretty good performance out of it. So if you guys have any questions about this, anything else, you can always post below in the comments section. You can also post over at my Facebook page as always. But definitely want to thank them for sending it out, and I wanted to thank them as well for letting me actually show you some of the R&D that we do here. This is kind of a quick snapshot. Obviously, we put a lot more rounds through it than what you guys saw here today, but so far so good. So that's about it, guys. Hope to see you in the next video.